Hello everyone, welcome to the workshop to paint a floral wreath using the flesh paint. I hope you know me. First of all, let me introduce. I'm Gaurav. I create a various kind of artworks and I'm on Instagram as ggarts91. And today I will be creating a artwork using my signature leaves and petals. I create a rose using a unique style. So I will be creating that. And you will be learning some tips from me how to use acrylic colors. We will be using the flesh paint acrylic colors today. And you will be learning some tips and tricks and how to enhance your artwork and how to create it smoothly. If you have seen my reels, you could understand like how I create it with a single stroke. Till now, generally what people do, people create a different kind of flower, but we will be mixing different kind of flowers and petals together to create a bouquet kind of thing. So first we will be using this acrylic colors from Flash Paint, as you might already know. And then we will need some brushes, paper and water, the basic things. But additional thing, if you will be having acrylic medium with you, so let me tell you one quality of acrylic medium. Like normally you can dilute your acrylic paint with water as well. But when you dilute it with water, it will slightly change its color. Like it will not be that much opaque. But if you use the acrylic medium is a liquid. You will see it like a milky thing, milky water. If you could see this one. And it comes in a two thing. One is matte and one is glossy. I use the matte one. Glossy will be too shiny. And if you use glossy, it will be like your art will reflect light a lot. So let's start. Let me change my camera setup. We'll be using these reference images. So it will not be exactly same because I used different mediums here, but today we will paint using the acrylic medium. So these are the reference images, like how we will create it. Brushes I use. So if you could see, I use the brush which has this fine tip. Okay, and all the brushes mostly like these are round shape brushes, but they are fine tip. They are not like round at the top. And second, we will be mixing up our colors here. So before directly starting to this, let me give you a demo how to create a leaf and how to put your brush, like what angle you should hold your brush and how I mix my colors. So I just wanted to show you this first. So I take some thick acrylic color in my palette first. I add 1 or 2 drops of medium. So if you don't have medium, it's okay. You can use water. And then I add one, depending upon the amount, I add just like 1 drop of water, or I can add 2 drops of water, depend how much color I took in my palette. And then I load my brush gently. I don't go like, you should not be in hurry. You should load it very gently because it should have some proper amount of color in your brush. You see? And it should not be too thick. If it is too thick, what you can do, you can understand like if it is not flowing, if you see the consistency. Okay, so if you see my brush, let me show on a background with it. So if you can see, it is still having some, but it is showing the fine tip as well, like the fine tip is maintained. So I just check the consistency by this, like it should not be dropping from my brush and it should be holding there, but the tip should be there, if you see. So how I draw is I just keep it, let me show you, it would be difficult. So I almost keep at a 80 to 85-degree angle, my brush, if you can see. Okay, then let me show you it closely. Just gently start with this and then put on full pressure and then gently start lifting. So what you will do, you will gently go down, then you will put the full pressure on your brush. It will release all the paint that it had, and then you will gently lift it up. So you have to remember the trick, light pressure, high pressure and then light pressure. Okay, let me show you again. Take your brush like this. Gently touch the surface. You see the tip, like if you see my paper, it's leaving a very small spot. Like if I touch my brush like this, because of the fine tip. So you can just touch your brush there, move slowly, then put pressure, and then gently lift it. You see? Let me show you from different angles so that you can understand clearly. See my brush, it is almost at 85 degree. Then I put it there, gently go, put the pressure, full pressure, see. Then gently start lifting it. As soon as it is full flat, like brush is like this, if you see, complete, like, let me show you closely. If you can see, my brush almost become like this. It is already looking like a petal, you see?
Yes.
And then I start lifting it slowly and move like this. Now let me show you how to create rose. So first of all, we need to create a center for the rose. Okay. So to create the center again, have your brush at same 85 degree angle and have the pointy head just touch the paper and go in a circle. And don't uh, be confused if it is coming in a different way. It will look good. Like try something like this. Every time it will come in a different shape, and that is the beauty of this. Go around. See. Or if round is difficult, you can do this kind of thing as well, like a random C shape. So if it will become big, I will create a petal inside it. So what I'm doing, I'm just moving it like this. C shape or a moon shape. C shape or moon shape. So can you see, like at the center, I create a very small petals. Then as soon as I go out, I create bigger and bigger one. And you have to create an angle for your rose. Like my rose is at an angle. Like here, if you see, the petals are very small or very thin or very fine. However you like to remember. But here, this side, it is big. So you have to always imagine like which angle your rose is. So now let's combine this rose with some petals. And there is one more stroke which I will quickly show you. It is easy. Everyone can grab that stroke. It's very easy one. It's not with a normal pen. It's a with very normal pen brush. If you see this one, this brush. Okay, for this stroke, you have to use a thick color. Don't mix much water in it. Just the thick color itself. And let me show you what I do. I take some color. I go in the palette. I load my brush with this thick color. And sometimes I add extra color as well, like 2 colors. And then what I do is, let me show you. Put it on the paper and just lift. So you can see the stroke here.
Yes.
So this will be the second stroke that we'll be using for our floral wreath. See. Okay. It is very simple. Put high pressure and then lift the paper. And while lifting, lift it quickly. So you see this a nice natural effect it will add. So your color should be thick for this one. Don't mix water or any medium in it. If it is too thick, you can mix very light, but it should your paint should be thick. See. So when I lift it quickly, so it adds a nice like natural looking effect to it at the end. And if your paint is dilute, let me show you what will happen if your paint is dilute for this kind of thing. So this is loaded with dilute paint. If your paint is dilute, you will see something like this. You will not see you if your paint is dilute, it will become something like this. The lifting is the key here, like at the end when you lift. So while putting, you can put it in any angle, but when lift, it should be very quick. It should be like a snap, like this, fast. So for practice, you can do something like this. Put your pen, brush and lift, lift, lift. So if you see at the end what it is doing, so you will learn what effect you want. Put it and lift, put it and lift. So you will understand how you have to lift at the end. And then you have to combine these two things. So gently put your brush on the paper and then lift quickly. Okay, this one got it. Now we will move to our floral wreath. So let's quickly create artworks for you. This use a piece of paper. I used a paper. I created a circle at the center so that I know where I have to create my flowers. Like while everyone is getting ready, let me quickly tell you like what happens while you create a leaf. Like why how other people generally create a leaf. Like what you will do, you will create a leaf. Let me take a paper. Like you will create like this, then you will create, and then you will fill
Yeah,
in the
yes,
color,
yes,
then
yes,
you will
yes,
shape it.
totally.
So in this way it will take too much time, but how I do it with a single stroke, it's like it won't take much time and it looks more natural, like this single. Now here, even if I have to correct something like sometimes, then I have to just correct something like that. That's it. Here I have to correct here as well. I need to put it on a proper shape.
Totally. I guess this is the secret ingredient of getting the content viral and making it so therapy for the audience.
Yes.
I
You
wish I
see,
could.
this it like making this take almost 30 to 45 seconds for me, but this one I can create in 10 seconds or even less than 10 seconds. I just need to go like this, put pressure and lift it. So there is one optional part at the center. If you want, you can make a different color circle in the center. Like you can put a different color. So if you can, let me just adjust the camera angle if you can see. And you can dilute your color very much. Use very light color, but a different color. Like it will add a effect. Like on white paper, I have added a light little bit of yellow. And it's very dilute color if you can see. I am adding water more as required. And it's okay sometime if it goes outside of the circle boundary, because anyways we will be creating flowers there, so it will be covered. So you can quickly create it and let it dry, and you can avoid it because it will take time to dry. So if you want, you can avoid it as well. And prepare your red color. First, we will be creating a rose flower at the center of this artwork. And for this one, I will recommend, like if you see here, I use a square paper always. Like if you can see, I use square paper. Okay, now if you're using the square paper, consider one of the diagonal. We will create rows around here. First rows, the bigger one. You can create any other flower as well, but the first bigger flower I used to create it here. Like always, if you see here, diagonal, the bigger flowers. Diagonal, the bigger flower. Okay, so it is dried for me. If it is not dried for you, just wait, or you can dry it using dryer, or just wait and let's start. So you are able to see, like I'm creating a center bigger rows here. And again, I'm creating my rows at angles. So at the top where I'm doing, I will create just fine leaves. And then as soon as I go down, I will create the bigger one, the fat leaves. See here. Okay. And somewhere in the center, if you leave more space, you can always cover it up, like with the fine lines. So this is again a trick for you. If somewhere, if you feel like you left more space in your flower, rose flower, you can create fine line to cover it. Okay, the rose is done. At one side, create a small leaves, and on other side, create the big one.
Okay, sir.
It will give you angle effect, like you are looking for an angle. Otherwise, if you create a complete circle, it will give you a look like you are looking from the top. But flower, always what you do, you take flowers in your hand, like you will take your flower in the hand, something like this, and you will be able to see it from an angle, right?
Yes, sir.
Like suppose if I will take it, I will see it like this. I won't see it like this. I want to see it like this.
Yes.
Yes. So next time, just note down the tips. So these are useful for you. Now we will create some leaves around it. Okay. So let's create leaves. Now to create leaves, again, change the brush, dry it, like clean the brush. And let me give you another tip. To clean the brush, I use 3, not even 2. Generally, people use 2. But if you see, here is also a lot of color, here is color, and here is very light. So my brush gets cleaned very much. Like, so I use this combination of 3 always. Okay, now let's create some leaves around here. And if you, as you can see, with the same brush, I created 2 small leaves and 1 big leaf. I didn't change my brush. I'm using the same brush, exact same brush. So it's up to you how you control your brush. And remember, you need to remember this circle while creating the petals and leaves as well. I created it here. Okay. Next, some I wanted to create here as well. See. And just do one thing, like if you are doing, you just need to create an image like where you will create your next leaf. Otherwise, like suppose if again I will create one more here, it won't look good. So sometimes you just need to think and see, like visually imagine what will happen where you will create the next leaf. Now, if you see in this leaf, I have added a bit of yellow color as well to create a new shape. Now, what we will do, we will create some small flower around here. I'm going to use this purple color. So next, I'm creating a flower, but not the rose flower. I will create a flower using the another technique which I told you. Put your brush here and lift, right? Be careful with this one. Okay, your pen should not be dilute much. It should be thick so that it gives you an effect when you lift it. Like dotted line, dashed line, broken lines, however you want to call it. But it gives you a very nice effect here. See. Let me change the angle so that I can tell you better. See, from here, this. You can change the color again. Okay. Now I will be using yellow color, but I won't paint the flower on the yellow color itself. What I will do is I will use yellow color. I will add, let me tell you how I do it. I loaded my brush with yellow color. I dip just a slight on red color. Okay. And then I will go here. See. So it is although yellow flower, but I'm adding a dash of red in it. Now you have to create a center part of this flower. So you can use alternate color. Like for this magenta color, I can add some yellow in the center. Okay. And in the yellow one, yellow and red one, I can add a dark color just to give it in the flower center. Okay. You can do one more thing, like on top of this color, you can add one more color. Okay, our flowers are ready now. Next thing, we'll create some more petals. So now quickly, I will create some petals. We are already running behind the time, but the important thing is you should learn the concept, how to create. See, now with the same brush, I created a small leaf. So once you understand the technique, once you understand how to control the brush, you will not need like for this I need 4-number brush, I will need 5-number brush. With the same brush, you can control the pressure, you can control your hand, and you can create different size of leaves. See here, I created a very different leaf, but it is very well going with this combination. Now, one more tip and trick that I want to give you. To create circular dots, we have to have this. This is called dotting toolkit. But if
Yes,
you
sir.
do not have it, what I use the end of my brush like this. So next you can use like I'm using this flash pen metallic acrylic color now. And what I will be doing, I am dipping my tip of my brush here. Okay. And then just creating dots here. Okay. On the circle boundary. Some people like it, some don't like it. So it's up to you if you want to create it or not create it. But what I like to do is I like to edit somewhere between just to give it a volume and a nice effect. Next, I can do same with another color. Like suppose if I want to do it with red color. Anytime you have a doubt, like will it come proper or not proper, you can always try on a rough paper first. If it is not coming, you might have to adjust your color and volume of the water in the color. On top of that, we can use some additional tools if you have, like a green color pen, if you have, or you can use the liner brush, but liner brush are a bit difficult to control. So once you learn controlling the normal round brush, you can use these brushes, like a load with these colors. And what you can create here is some steams, just to give it a volume. Okay. If you do not want to use it, you can also try a green color pen or any other color which suits you. And you can create something there. I'm done with my artwork here. And this is the another technique that I wanted to show you. That's why I remove my color. What I do is I use masking tape and I paste my paper there so it doesn't move and it doesn't show up in my videos like what I have used behind it. So you can see. Sure. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you learned it. You might not have completed your artwork, but most important thing is you learned the techniques, you learned how to load the brush, how to control it,
Yes,
and how to create it, right?
yes. Thank you so much, sir.
And please share it on your Instagram, tag us. We would love to see what you're creating. And not only just this, from the learning from this workshop, what you create in the future. We would love to see that as well.
Sure, sure, sir.
And please practice and have patience because it's not like in 1 hour or 2 hour you can learn and you can create a perfect leaves like I am creating. So I practiced a lot and then only I am able to create it like this. So just practice. Okay.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you so much for
Sure.
tips and
Thank
everything.
you.
Useful and engaging. We really like this.
Thank you so much.